Corey Staten always had a talent to captivate an audience. In high school, he was given weekly class time to tell jokes, stories, and do impersonations. After graduating high school in 1994, he suffered severe headaches and was diagnosed with pseudotumor cerebri, a condition that causes pressure in the skull and swelling of the optic nerve. Now, a shunt was placed in his brain to relieve the pressure, but it was too late. After the surgery, Corey awoke to complete darkness. Despite his blindness, Corey found a positive path. He combined his passion for music, dance, storytelling, and education in a program he founded with his wife called Atumpan-The Edutainment. Atumpan means talking drum in the Away language of West Ghana. We caught up with the man who goes by the name Corey, the talented blind guy, at the Portsmouth Art and Cultural Center.
I do give credit to my loss of sight for allowing me to discover my creative path. At the age of 19, I was heavily into sports, basketball, football, baseball, you name it. If it was a sport, I like to play it. Grab an instrument, have a seat, play along with us, so that you can say that I participated in the rhythms of life with Atumpan-The Edutainment. I was driving, dating my wife now, she's my girlfriend then, and I was just being a typical young man, and all of a sudden to wake up in a world of darkness, you don't have a lot of those avenues anymore.
You know, when Corey first lost his sight, the adjustments were mainly that I did not have to suffer through his bad driving. Corey was a bad driver, and outside of that, you know, his personality was still the same. Honestly, that's the main thing that I always remember.
Being passionate about history and learning and education, it allowed me to find my voice in another way. So all that energy that would have been there for basketball and football, you know, I found a way to pour that out on the stage and also on the page, because I do, you know, write poetry and then I write play scripts as well. Three Blind Mice on Sight is a third play that's going to be produced by the Hurrah Players Family Theater in Norfolk, Virginia. It's a play, it's satirical in the fact that it takes a look at how people with disabilities, specifically somebody that's visually impaired,
will you be able to scurry to work on time like all the other mice?
People tend to look at us as being handicapped or disabled, but truly it's just that we're differently able. What I do in that play is I take the three blind mice and I show their plight in trying to find employment in Mouseville. And as this challenge is occurring, the farmer's wife basically hires this gang of cats to rid her house of the mice. And in the end, there's a surprising twist, because when the Red Beret rodent military can't get rid of the cats, the three blind mice are on site to help out. One good thing about Atumpan-The Edutainment is that even though we do a lot of African dance and African folklore and performances, you know, we include everybody, regardless of your ethnicity, regardless of your age, regardless of your different abilities as far as disabilities are concerned. I think that's a wonderful thing to see many different people from many different cultures and backgrounds coming together to make one beautiful performance.
You know, one of the main things that I do when performing with Corey is to redirect him to the stage so that he's always facing the audience. Sometimes he drifts to the right or the left, and those are the little things that audiences would notice, but Corey would not. And it does make a big difference in a performance. People, their attention span, their focus is now shifted. And so I do give a lot of verbal cues as far as directional cues for Corey. And I also give him audience cues to let him know that there are lots of children. We have new people coming in. Because those are things that he can't sense unless they are giving direct feedback.
Not being able to see, I kind of get in my own zone. And sometimes I actually lose myself and forget that the audience is there. and I begin to just get into that world with them, and I feel the response from the audience, I know that in the moment I did my job as an educator, as an artist, and that somebody's going to walk away knowing something they didn't know before.
My happiness is your happiness.
People with disabilities aren't disabled, just differently able.
Definitely someone with a loved one who has a disability, I would encourage them to share with other people how to interact with that person. You know, lots of times Corey will tell me, no, don't tell people how to help me, but it helps them. The more information they have, they realize that, oh, that's just fine to do. We can walk a little faster, or I don't have to talk so loudly, or we can, have just a normal conversation without adjusting our language, so that if you're blind, I don't have to say, did you listen to the TV? It's perfectly fine to say, did you watch the TV? Others, they assume they have to interact with that person a certain way. But if you are more forward with the information, if you are more forthcoming with how to interact with that person, then other people, it normalizes it for them. They don't feel so inhibited, to interact with that person, because they don't know, they tend to shy away. The more they know, it's always better. When we find out that people are different, but we find out how we can connect with them, we usually find out that it's in the same way that we're already connecting with other people.
If I had a chance to go back and visit 19-year-old Corey and see myself wake up on that day when I first lost my sight, I would like to say, don't worry, it's not what you expected to have happen, but if you just hang on, in 1999, you're going to start a wonderful drum group called Atumpan-The Talking Drums. You're going to help people to see the world differently, even though that you can't see.
Atumpan workshops cover topics like anti-bullying, history, classic literature, and simple science. For more on the workshops, LaQuita's African dance classes, and Corey's play Three Blind Mice on Sight, being performed by the Hurrah Players in Norfolk, go to CoreyTheTalentedBlindGuy.com.